pretty good competition with Billy Frampton and Darcy Moore and the like.
Yeah, you'd think there'd be some subtle changes under the new coach, which might become more apparent as the season gets underway. It's the Charity Shield. It's Collingwood and Richmond from Icon Park. It's a warm, warm evening, and we're underway. Great to see Sam Naismith in as the backup with no Nan Curvis out there throwing his weight around. Taranto, the best and fairest from last year. Hill, the Norm Smith medalist. And a bloke called De Goey who earns the first free kick.
Interesting, no McGuinness and Johnson in the forward line yet for Collingwood.
Keeps it low into the pocket and it keeps on going on its way. So it'll be interesting to see how they do work those tonight. I suspect probably, at least coming in before the heat, you probably think they'll play 22 or 23 or 24 maybe for a fair bit of the game, and then as it goes on they'll bring a few of the others in. Schultz is down there to start with in the shade. Part of the movement underneath there is Taranto heaving it out. Moore got rid of Kazitsky and couldn't quite take the mark on the logo. Here's Hoskin Elliott and Markov, a former Tiger, one of the great success stories of last year. Pickett and Dacos in each other's way, and the offender was Pickett, so Josh Dacos and now Myercheck.
Just an early matchup to get excited about. Dusty Martin and Braden Maynard. Bad for Feb 27.
De Goey kept it low, tailed off a little. Cameron, Cox, both there or thereabouts. Bobby Hill, who looks like he's in great shape, seeing a little bit of the pre-season training, and I don't think he's dropped off at all, just inspired by what he was able to do and hoping to go even better. Great to see Prestia fitting well, off to short. Bolter, as we've all seen, prominent role up forward. There's the plans for him at the moment. Rioli shining in the late afternoon sun, feeding the ball into the 50 through Baker and a bloke called Martin who misses everything. It must be February.
I see a lot of that, Brownie. You alluded to it with Craig McRae. That is the slingshot off halfback. Whatever you want to call it, every club has trained it over the journey, and Richmond were no different.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be a huge amount of change with how they move the ball, guys. You know, Damien Hardwick, obviously, a very attacking game style, prepared to flick it on by hands. I would have thought Uzo will continue on the same manner.
Cameron made it rather easy for Dion Prestia to kick Richmond's first goal, which he duly does. One of the triple premiership players still out there for the Tigers, dribbling it through, and he's still an important component of their team.
Speaking about him pre-game, they've still got a very strong midfield. Trent Cotchin, of course, retired. He's out of that side, but he was starting to spend less minutes there the last couple of seasons. They're strong in there with Hopper and Taranto coming in. Dusty, if he spends more time there this year. Not sure how much Shea Bolton will spend there. Can they bring up a younger fella like a Thompson Dow? But this guy is a key part. He's the one constant in there over the years, if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, that's the trick, isn't it? Keep him on the deck. Yeah. He's had a little hamstring niggle early in January. He's got himself right for this, which is great.
He's always had the habit at the right time of getting himself right, hasn't he, in those premiership years?
I'd love him to have a good run, and Tom Lynch is the other, obviously, and then all of a sudden they're dangerous again, the Tigers.
Oh, the ump's gone down. The ruck in Cameron also went asunder. Hand pass from Taranto. Couldn't quite connect with Baker. There is Thompson Dow. Maybe he draws some slightly high contact initially.
That's what you want to see with Richmond, their midfield. Can they find a younger mid that'll carry him for the next decade?
Dow. Taranto. Bolton tried to be clever, but it was a bit overcrowded. Baker just disposed of Hill. Taranto's hands on the ball again. Jabbed that handball forward to Seth Campbell. He's one of those who's auditioning in some ways for that extra small pressure forward.
Yeah, we love seeing new faces come in, and we love seeing old faces do what they've been doing since they first played a game of footy, and that Tim Taranto finding the ball. He's had 5 touches already.
Campbell, a Tassie boy, picked up in the rookie draft at the end of the previous year. Quayner's kick, as you saw, smothered, and Cameron kept it in the Pies' favour. Now Nick Dacos plays it all the way back. Now that is overconfidence, you would suggest, by the result, as Bolter takes the mark.
He was just off Darcy Moore, to the left of Darcy, about 5 metres behind him. I don't know whether...
Didn't see him?
Well, how could you not, given it's a bright yellow jumper, but he had a shorter option that he elected not to go to, who had no opponent. So It's good to get Nick Dacos' mistakes out of the road early. He doesn't make many.
No. Nominated as a forward to perhaps join Tom Lynch when he returns. Noah Bolter, big interceptor down in defence, but the new coach has new plans.
Yep, love it. I love it. Hopefully causes some chaos, makes a few defenders nervous.
Yes, he's nothing of unpredictable, that's for sure. Hoskin Elliott through the middle. There was a bit of an opening. Need the ball to bounce their way, which it didn't. Broad gets it back under their command. Shorts kick smothered. Gibcus is another one who Tiger fans' hearts will be gladdened by seeing him at full fitness after missing last year with hamstring issues. Shaw knew how to get the ball forward for Martin. Tried the shrug, but Markov has seen that before and knew exactly what to do, his former teammate. Knowing it and being able to do it, they were two different
Forewarned and forearmed, Hutto. That's what we can put it down to. Maybe he's got the moustache back too. That came off at some stage. He bounced back very impressively.
Pickett. Dusty's certainly been prominent early. He's poked it out wide. He knew where Shea Bolton was running and roaming. From 40 out, he kept it low, but not quite straight.
That's what we spoke about pre-game, guys, when you look at Dustin Martin up a little bit higher, about 60, 70 out from goal, but that ball use to open up his teammates going inside forward 50.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how they match up, because once he wanders out of the attacking 50, whether they hand over, because if they don't, already we've seen him get a couple of possessions between the centre circle and the 50-metre arc without too much opposition.
Where it's also working, Gary, is that he disrupts the opposition's defensive structures at stoppage as well, because you can't leave him alone inside forward 50. That's how Prestia gets his first goal, because Maynard can't sift off.
Pickett had plenty of time to assess. Frampton and Kazitsky. Needs to impress early with Lynch still to return.
Yeah, he needs to get his numbers up. Can he get 30-plus goals for the year? Make a strong contest, of course, with Lynch not being there. Bolter will carry the load.
Could you fit the
big
three
contest.
in the same team?
Not sure.
Baker was trying to wait till he was spun in the tackle and was facing the right way. Oh, out of the air, Prestia was trying to claim it.
Just on that point, Hutto, Kazitsky is more of a leading type player. Bolter's more your bulliker, and obviously Tom Lynch can play both. But so they are slightly different, which does help them fit into the same forward line together.
That's a tick away from 2 forward stoppage goals in the first 10 minutes, which wouldn't have impressed Craig McRae too much.
Markov, short, well placed, had the vantage point to take that mark. And structurally, I think the Tigers will be very happy at the moment. Collingwood can't get it out, can they?
No, they're in their forward half for most of this game.
Here's Kazitsky. He had him where he wanted to, Frampton. The backup was mainly Collingwood's, although the personnel, the danger, lies with Bolton, his side bottom. Frampton, better kick it.
The forward pressure's been very good, Richmond.
He was outstanding in their match sim as well, Brownie. Yeah. Against Melbourne, really stood out.
Josh Dacos and then Markov.
Quick way to impress the new coach, Gaz.
Yep, get your hands dirty.
What was it, 10 in a row they kicked against Melbourne in that match sim?
They go 5 up, the first 5 up, and belted on the next 10.
Lipinski, one of their better ball users. Delivers perfectly. The Elliott keeps it low. Had to bounce once before it got to Lockie Schultz.
Well, we spoke a lot about him pre-game. What an addition to a team who's coming off a premiership. So 33 goals, but his foot, you talk about forward pressure. It's just so evident in his work at Freo.
Yeah, one of the better small forwards in the competition, Gaz. He's a great addition.
Short to Bolter to Martin. Suddenly Richmond are at half forward. Kazitsky is a yard or two behind Moore. The footy arrived for him. He fought a reasonable fight, but draped his arm over the shoulder. And the free kick goes to the Collingwood captain.
Certainly shown a willingness, Richmond, already to move the ball quickly into their forward line, from one end of the ground to the other. They've gone coast to coast nicely.
Be interesting to see with Lockie Schultz how quickly he can pick up the system. I mean, all teams are a little bit different, aren't they, in where they want you to run or not run?
Yeah, well, and they may have a different system last year, just with personnel there with no mistake.
A couple of big leapers. Gibcus, naturally athletic, Taranto was stunted a little bit. Here's Graham. He can certainly kick at 50 metres.
Pretty simple for Lockie, isn't it? If you get confused, just go and tackle and put pressure on.
Yeah, we're just hoping for some predictability. So, you know, to get it to the main aerial target, whether that's Myercheck or Mason Cox when he's down there, or Darcy Cameron, and then just work off those guys.
7-1 clearances, Richmond, 9-3 inside 50s. So they've started on fire here.
Cox gives them a way out. Young trying to close there. Tyler Young, who was one of the defensive success stories for Richmond last year.
So you've got Gibcus and Broad. Well, Broad now is free inside their defensive 50, so can't really go long.
Elliott gets a little untidy. I suspect that was deliberately handled over the line, but it's only February.
Now they even numbers up, Brownie. So you look down there and you think, OK, can they go quick, Collingwood? But for a stage there, it was Gibcus who was on his own, then he evened up, and then Broad was sitting there on his own. So they may be a fractionally slow evening up a number, which would allow them to go forward quicker.
Dow claimed, kicks, Markov. Mitchell ignored the first couple of options, didn't make life particularly easy for Maynard. There's Tom Brown, just played the one game late last year.
Dusty won out with Darcy Moore inside 50.
So Bolton's got it. When does he kick to Dusty? Now.
It was great because Darcy Moore takes, we know how aggressive he is as a defender, and their whole defensive group is. So they threw, well, whether by design or not, Dustin Martin was the one that found himself deep and isolated. And gee, when you get out like that, when you get the ball in the hands of Bolton and you've got Dustin one out, it doesn't matter who's defending him. If you execute properly, he'll get on the end of it.
20 games last year, 25 goals. He's up to game 289, so he's only 5 behind Jack Skinny Titus. Any chance we get to say Jack Skinny Titus is a good one, I think, as Dusty misses to the right. It'll be a huge celebration when he gets to 300.
Yeah, it'll be huge. It's great that he stayed there, and yeah, there's obviously talk in the off-season with especially Damien Hardwick going north. With Dusty stay around, he looks motivated. He looks like he's had a great pre-season. He'll be motivated if they can keep moving the ball the way that Richmond are at the moment at this stage of the game. 10-3 the inside 50 count. They're dominating clearances.
Just need a bit of better finishing at this stage. Moore has been working overtime so far. Nice marking prowess from the high leaping Ash Johnson.
So again, they're outnumbered deep, so can't really pull the trigger yet.
Mitchell, quick mind change. Back to Nick Dacos. Elliott was moving, still is, coming up at the kicker.
And now the evening up takes place. Ash Johnson works his way back, and Cameron with Naismith.
Johnson flew. Rioli, sleight of hand, short. Here's Bolter, trying to challenge Markov, but did it illegally.
Agricultural, Jonathan, but that is what he brings to the forward half.
And he's one guy you don't want to be standing in the hole in front of. He's a tremendously powerful athlete. He can jump. He's really quick. Good moustache there.
Yeah, it's got even better. Into the pocket. Cameron tries to make his move. Short. Pickett. Adapted well. Arms everywhere, really, just to get it free. Through Prestia and Rioli.
Yeah, it's good transition there.
Yeah, kept them guessing, didn't they? Kept control of the footy. Gets a little bit scrappy, but Martin just dismissed Hoskin Elliott. Rioli was still running, and Prestia full-chested. Richmond are through. Inside 50. Tom Brown fires away. But just like his teammates, he's missed.
Well, they've been inside now 11 times for one goal. That's the only thing that you can be critical of, the way Richmond are playing. That was the first time Collingwood were able to get any sort of forward pressure on, and they still worked their way through it. And once they got through and out, they had 4 and 5 in space. So it's been a super impressive start from the Tigers.
John Noble legs it out of defence. Strokes it towards Elliott. Gibcus. See there how aerial his presence is going to be.
That allows Bolter to go forward, doesn't it? But, gee, just with our view here, the coverage they've got in their back half and their ability to push back. They'll miss Dan McStay, obviously, out for the year, which is, you know, a footy tragedy, having missed the grand final. But someone's got to take his spot, and one of those forwards got to put their hands up.
Hopper, Naismith tries to force his way through, took a couple with him. Prestia low to the ground. Great tackling. No whistle. Bit of frustration from the Pies fans. Bit early for that too. Maynard, wholehearted as ever. Noble, back to Maynard. Josh Dacos tried to find Nick, failed. Prestia. Baker just shunted it forward. Noble. 3-on-1 against Collingwood. Nick Dacos draw the contact that time. Through Josh and Maynard again. They'll get deeper. A little more penetration. Elliott versus Short. Points to the Richmond player at this stage. Myercheck. Pickett. Towed up. And Young is gobbled. Myercheck, such an all-round terrific contributor.
Yeah, that's better forward pressure by Collingwood. Haven't seen a lot of that early in the game. Seen a lot of it from the Richmond forward half.
Josh Dacos ponders. Darcy Cameron getting back, being matched by Samson Ryan now at the top of the goal square. Johnson versus Gibcus as well. Ryan the most prominent with the fist.
They do that well, Collingwood. Saw it last year. They're predictable to each other. You saw Dacos signalling to where he was going to kick the ball. They set up the stoppage. They load up. They know they've got talented players here to finish.
Darcy Cameron. Elliott maybe copped a stray boot, but we'll see it.
Contested ball whooping it was there. It's 23-18 now. It was 23-11 at one stage in favour of the Tigers. So
how's that work from Darcy Cameron? Unfortunately for him, there was someone in Nathan Broad on the line. His kick kind of in betwixt and between on the way out. Campbell takes it nicely.
They are dominating ground balls, though, guys, Richmond are. That shows work rate. That's a great sign Adam Muzo would be looking at their intent. Obviously, their setup's really good, but you still got to have the intent to be first out to that ground ball.
Naismith, not an easy man to get around, and he showed it there. Taranto checks side bottom. He does appear to be a pretty handy backup pick for them, doesn't he?
Yeah. And
lost Ivan's shoulder.
Inspired in the end. Otherwise, they would have been really skinny. They got Miller and Ryan and a few that could pinch hit, but he's a crash and basher.
Sky ball, Lipinski and a couple of Tigers. McCreary put the tackle on. Here's the fight for the loose ball. Brown, sure ball handling, quick kicking, but too deep as it turned out. Favoured the defender, favoured Maynard, and he kicks very similarly, not really to the advantage of a teammate. They make good, although Josh Dacos has company, and it's big company, and the ball is turned over. Although Maynard fights back, and now Hoskin Elliott takes smartly there away, trying to give a little bit back at the Tigers, ran straight into trouble, held on for too long. Umpire inclined to pay the advantage. Dacos inclined to take it, kicks from McCreary. But good, honest footy coming hard the other way from Short. Flops the handball a bit, which wasn't great for Prestia's health or well-being. And that's not help for his way he feels about life either, as he's caught holding the ball.
Blackpool coming off here. So what they'd be thrilled with Richmond is where they've been winning the ball back. So in the middle of the ground between the 250-metre zones, and just their inability to convert is the only thing they haven't quite got done. Oh, geez.
Fair whack.
That can hurt. That's Josh Dacos there. I'm sure the Collingwood team will have a look at that and check him out.
Over McCreary. Side bottom was... Well, he's not that far away from where he kicked that unbelievable goal in the grand final. I'm pretty sure he won't be trying to repeat it here. Now Jordan De Goey still confronted by a big crowd inside the forward 50. So, oh no, nice little step around. Trusts the left, Cox maybe. Tom Brown cornered. Nick Dacos, Chris Lipinski on the left, and it might just sneak through. Collingwood's first.
He's an important player, Patrick Lipinski. Certainly can play midfield time, but he's decent size, that sort of medium type forward there. We've spoken a lot about the Collingwood forward line. What's the makeup going to be? You'd expect that he's going to be in there, if he's healthy, throughout the year. He's a nice hybrid type player, Gaz. Can fit in both ways.
Yeah, he's a beauty. Another great pickup from their recruiting team. just some hard work inside forward 50, win the footy back. That's what they weren't doing in the first 10 minutes. It was waltzing out of there and
lock it in,
going the distance. But you have a look at the inside 50s now, and they've just about squared it up 11-10. So they've had a really good 5 or 6 minutes, the Magpies. And this is the problem. You don't take your chances. You kick 1 goal 7. All of a sudden you're ahead by a goal instead of maybe should have been 3 or 4 in front.
Injured his shoulder in this particular game last year, the pre-season game against Hawthorn, and came back in round 13. Pat Lipinski, but it all ended well for him. It was the sub, as you remember, in grand final day, came on at quarter time, and he's a premiership player. They're at it again. To go, his kick not marked. Short, Rioli. Bolton. With enough space to create.
The run from behind by Rioli.
Prestia has to go for the mark. Quainer had a good read on it. And in those fluorescent pink boots, he powers away.
Quainer's man, Dustin Martin, sitting in the goal square, so he took a risk then, Isaac.
Lipinski for McCreary to the goal square. Myercheck, unchecked, and takes the mark.
This is when Collingwood can really hurt you. We saw them on show in the grand final. They transition from one side of the ground off half back. They can get it out to the other side, and gradually the opposition defenders all have to push forward to pick up the next man, and there's always going to be a free man over the back. And with their elite kicking skills, quite often they can finish the play like they have here.
Should convert, which he duly does.
And this is what we don't talk about too often, is how far back you go to look at this, Brown. Right? So Dustin Martin decided not to go with Isaac Quainer. So this is the bit of the issue that you've got to deal with. This is back before this play here. So this ends up in the hands of Myercheck, and it was great transition. But if you go way back, it was Quainer that started it. Now, he took the risk and left his man, and Dustin said, well, I'm not going. Now, he's earned the right probably to make that decision. He sat back, but as a result of him sitting back, they got freedom in the ball movement and ended up in a direct goal. That's what I wonder how you coach that. Yeah. What's your message?
It's a risk you take, isn't it? And yes, Dusty would have that licence. But, I think you want to ask questions of the defenders at times. You don't want to just blindly run up the ground with the defender. I think you need to ask questions so that defender is all of a sudden turning his head and maybe getting a little bit nervous if his teammates are turning the ball over.
Still 5 minutes to go in this opening term. Tom Mitchell couldn't make the contact he was after. Naismith, misguided handball. Dacos to Goey. So Collingwood really have turned the momentum around a little. There was a jumper being tugged there. The umpire saw it.
Nathan Broad been a great servant at this footy club.
Finished top 10 in the best and fairest the last couple of years, despite missing those 4 games early in the year with suspension last year. Lands on the wing, Kazitsky, Moore, Cox, Naismith. Played the rover role. He'll take that. Samson Ryan trying to work out where it's going to land.
They're waxing the ruckman.
Well, he got outmarked by Braden Maynard in a quick play, which he got pushed under the footy now. He's still developing, and these guys take time, but in time, that just can't happen. So he's got to be able to impose himself, and this has kicked into some space, and he ran onto it. He's a good athlete. He's got a lot going for him, but he's going to have to grit his teeth. Going to find that real competitive gene.
He's played the 15 games of AFL footy. Collingwood fans there trying to make life more difficult for him.
Doesn't help in the record. He's listed as 0 kilos. 206 centimetres and 0 kilograms. No wonder he's getting pushed out of the way.
He may just put on a bit, in fairness to him.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They don't do the weights anymore.
No weights anymore, Brownie.
That's why he runs 0. You'd be happy with that, Hutto.
You get in trouble for that, Jonathan. So you should. Frampton kicks it to Noble. He takes the mark. Crowd enjoying the opportunity to give a bit of lip.
Once at the hyphen, I think that's the Hoskin Elliott, but the hyphen, he wasn't in the right spot. It's great to be back at suburban footy grounds, Anthony.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hear these things.
Not in any delay either, so we'll just we'll ride it.
It's in immaculate condition. It is unbelievable out there.
Nathan Broad with the tee up to the square. Cox should be favoured to at least spoil. Baker went for the spectacular.
That's beauty.
Things have changed here in Carlton. That used to be a bowl of pasta once upon a time.
That's the Smash Navo generation, Gaz.
It's infiltrated our more mature.
Like the old Victoria Park days, you then throw it at the plaza, and they're coming off.
What, an empty avocado shell?
Instead of an empty can or a full
You
can.
might want to get the nut in the middle of it.
It's a warm day in Melbourne. Sunner factor still. Scores level, 3 to go. Opening turn. Good hit out for both teams. They fought for front position. Cox couldn't keep his feet. More Nick Dacos. Prepared to give it some height. The ruckman, the big guys wrestling with each other, Cameron and Young. And it's out. Mason Cox, 19 games last year, the most he's played since 2018. And did finish the year really as Collingwood's #1 ruckman. Mitchell. A bit of a hold on Nick Dacos.
Out for his 8th possession, so he's doing what he does. Nick Dacos.
After Hoskin Elliott.
Certainly been able to even up the inside 50s Collingwood late in this quarter. 14-13 now. Still in Richmond's favour.
Well spread ahead. Goes down the line. Jamie Elliott, an early leap. Hoskin Elliott felt it from Pickett as a result. Out on the full.
So again, the development of Samson Ryan, who's now got Darcy Moore. He's going to be deep, so he's got to be able to give a contest at best Harvard.
Dow. Bolter, Frampton and Bolton.
Yeah, Bolter did a great job.
Well, no one on the mark.
Protected Shea Bolton. He ended up taking it almost uncontested. Some great protection.
Ryan the deepest. Quick revision. And Pickett, who is a long kick. I still think this is a metre too far.
I think he's got it in him, Anthony. This is a thumping kick.
Dylan Grimes was run down from defence.
Ambitious Dylan.
Alan Pickett had to spend a bit of time up forward last year as they tried a few different combinations. Samson Ryan, now that is genuine encouragement if you can take a mark like that forward.
Well, the important thing is that he launched himself at the ball. So if you're going to come up against mature age defenders, try and out-wrestle them, you're going to get beaten more often than not. Use your height, jump up at the ball, and then you've got to ask questions of the defender. He has to chop the arms, and this time he was good enough to take the mark, Samson. Great play.
Able to kick 12 goals in his 14 games last year.
Oh,
the Tigers are back in front.
Does he know? No, he hit the post beyond the goals.
So it's a really good sign, isn't it? That for all the things that we've been talking about him as taking the next step as a big forward, if that's where he's going to play and develop, if not ruck, that's been able to go down and take a contested mark like he did there against good opposition. Maynard, Moore, Cox, all in the vicinity. And he's taken the mark and kicked the goal. So there's the big tick from this first quarter from a Tiger point of view. Really good jump at it.
Good work by Naismith as well there. You look at the way he engaged two Collingwood opponents just to allow Ryan to have a clear jump at the ball.
It's got some height, haven't they? Tigers. Sure how they're going to work and best deploy them, but they're not wanting for some size.
Good timing from Cox. Taranto, Martin in the middle. He was crowded out and he disposed of it illegally. Dacos quickly thinking about the next phase. It involves side bottom, a moving Myercheck. Popping up McCreary.
It's a fascinating watch, Dusty, isn't he? So he's twice been caught this first quarter, and all the things, time gets everyone, and he's a long, long way from anyone catching up with him, or time catching up with him, but it does just a little edge, just a little one will come off every single player that's ever played the game.
Cox reaching, Naismith, a hard man to budge. A fumble from Hopper invites the pressure.
But it is a craft thing, so centre bounce Last year he didn't play anywhere near as much as he has previously in his career. So as Adam Muzo said pre-game, he's worked on it a lot in the pre-season. You still need to get that touch back in real game.
Snatched away by Elliott, runs straight into a Tiger wall, and the umpire has no sympathy whatsoever. Camden McIntosh, the ever-dependable one. 168 games, and a tremendous story for the Tigers. Played in 2 of their premiership successes. Now this is the bounding Gibcus, covering the turf. His kick does drop short though. Go Tom Brown, little hope.
Out there in the ground pre-game, Gibcus, he's a big boy now, he's a big strong lad.
And he's got some string,
yeah,
some bounce about him.
Having the year off, Brownie, I guess you can train other things, can't you, uninterrupted?
Yeah, you can throw the steel around the gym, Hutto.
Okay.
A bit like Gaz back in his heyday. Yeah, but he looks good. He looks like he's strengthened up nicely. Strong through the court.
So that's the first quarter, and some encouragement, particularly for Richmond.
Had a massive off-season, so looking forward to the season coming ahead.
Absolutely. I was like, after the way that he ended last year, to see him come back, and he's probably been our best pre-season trainer. Exciting times ahead for him.
Well, Jeremy, as always, it's great to catch up with you. All the best with the calf. Hopefully you're right for the opening round.
That's it. Appreciate it, lads. I'll be there.
Thank you, Jono and Eddie and Jeremy Howe, who will be back and ready to go, along with the likes of Scott Pendlebury, when the Pies do battle in opening round against the Giants. Centre bounce, Cox the tap, hacked out Bolton. Tracked by Pickett, left it there for Sidebottom, who's trapped immediately.
We're just talking about Bobby Hill too. He's gone from chocolates to boiled lollies, Gaz. Hasn't touched the grape in the first quarter after Norm Smith.
I sort of thought he had a little bit of it early, or was around it at least early, but he doesn't need to be ripping at the shreds here.
Round to Young. Kazitsky tried to drag himself up and bring the ball down. Maynard off the right and misguided.
So we're going to keep seeing this forward pressure from Richmond, and they're just confronting the Collingwood defence every time they get the footy. It's been a bit of a sign early in the piece for the Tigers.
Bolter, he does get himself free here to try and fly. Fisted away. Bolton feeding it back. Hopper was wary of what was around him. Sidebottom. There was plenty of obstacles. He heard the whistle on the high contact. Now it's all about the advantage. To go, he was waiting till Lipinski was a factor. Back the other way, Myercheck heard the call, honoured it. Lockie Schiltz has got Elliott as the obvious stepping stone. In the square, waiting patiently, is Ash Johnson. That time may have passed. There was other options, including Jordan De Goey.
Very similar to what Richmond were doing in the early, or did in the early part of this game. That passage of play there from Collingwood. Once they win the footy at half back, and maybe they're not quite as dialed in defensively, both teams, but gee, there's a lot of players out on transition.
2 big goals in that grand final, and a dominant preliminary final as well. Jordan De Goey. That one is just a minor. It's his 10th season with the Pies.
Well, he's been pretty consistent the last few years. Fantastic player. One of the strongest, most powerful in the competition. He lights up a game as good as anyone.
Bolter just edging, was more to the front. Josh Dacos saw a way through to his brother. Now to McCreary and back to Josh Dacos. The early step evaded the smother. Lipinski, Chris, rolling him to ground was Grimes. All went unwhistled. Lipinski shakes himself clear. Must have been just about dizzy as he takes the left foot shot.
I love flipping it around by hand, don't they, Collingwood? Just when they're in tight, their willingness to do it and their trust and confidence in each other. So they've had 110 kicks and 76 handballs to 89 kicks and 48 handballs from a Richmond point of view. So win a stack more of the footy, but just flipping it around by hand in congestion has been a cornerstone of what they're trying to do, or what they have done.
Grimes.
I think Dacos got his jumper ripped off, Anthony. He's got no jumper from the front half. He's got the front half, but not the back half.
Put a signature on that, Gaz. Donate to charity, maybe the food bank.
Who was it last year that ran around without a jumper?
Brisbane player, Brownie.
Robertson.
Robertson.
That's right.
Could be a while too, boys. One of the Collingwood officials has started the long walk to the change rooms to get a new jumper for him.
It's good for the Instagram, but I'm not sure Nick needs the help with the Instagram numbers.
He's a modest boy. He's coming off.
Putting back into play with DeGoey. Scopes out the forward line. Ash Johnson wanted it long, but as you can see, they're going the long way around via Moore and now Maynard. Schultz moving strongly, but the kick goes. Oh, Hoskin Elliott.
Going to see if Ash Johnson can get on the end of this, whether he can read what's going. We know he can jump at it from out of position, but sometimes just predictability down the line's needed as well. He's got Gibcus as his opponent.
They are outnumbered here.
It'll do. Just brought it to the ground there in the contest.
This will help Lockie Schultz at times, guys. If they play that predictable football long down the line, make the quick decision long down the line, that'll help him orientate. If it's always in motion and they're flicking it from side to side, especially a new player can find it difficult to read the play.
Ryan, Hopper, Pickett. Nice collect. Darts away. As you saw, Dow. Back for Martin. Scrambly. Kazitsky versus Frampton. Crisp. Side bottom to Ranto. Prestia. The soccer from Hoskin Elliott. Schultz turning the body quickly. Gibcus.
Every time he goes to a contest, your eye's drawn to Josh Gibcus. He's not going to get out jumped too often, Brownie, and he's going to get a fist in. And gee, I know they've got massive raps and hopes for him, and if he can keep himself sound, what an inclusion.
Important role with Bolter going forward, guys.
Yeah.
Now, if he's there for the whole season, huge role. We know we've got Grimes and Broad there, but essentially he's the big key defender.
Dow plays it wide. I remember in his first year he played 18 games. I think Buddy towed him up one day, gave him a little bit, and he went forward and kicked a goal or so, and showed what he could do at the other end of the ground.
Young defenders, actually, with Tyler Young there and young Brown as well.
Yep.
Keen to watch his progress.
Ryan Cox just trying to work him out of it.
It's a really good test, isn't it, for Ash Johnson? You know, the audition. We know Reece McInnes is going to get a look at it. He's currently on the bench, and he'll be given his chance as well. So let's just see how hard he can work, see how many contests he gets to.
Even now, Gibbs has just got a hand on the back of his jumper.
Well, it's a good matchup both ways because they're both athletically gifted. Then, Gibcus, what we've seen, again, he's come back really strong, and we know I want to see Ash Johnson be able to work him around a little bit, push him up, turn him around, dart back towards goal, make Gibcus turn his back on the play. That's just forward craft. Right now, he's a little bit easy to play on.
Taranto gave them a look inside 50. Frampton did his bit. Hoskin Elliott, Bolton, Hopper had to contend with side bottom. Dubious handball for Prestia. Very little he could do. Side bottom goes again.
And that was Ash's problem last year. He just made it easy for his opponents to play on. So that role's there for the taking, and he's got to push hard for that this year.
Yeah, you just want to see how he's developed as a forward end, and that's going to help him find more of the footy. He's not a big possession winner.
Schultz slides it forward. Elliott versus Gibcus. He left Johnson that time, which means that Johnson's now on his own. If they can win the ball back.
Now he should hit back hard to the goal square. Make Gibcus make a decision. Gibcus is in no man's land there, so rather than just stand there and make it easy for Gibcus to get back to him, he could have sprinted to the goal square there. And then Josh Gibcus has got a decision to make.
Played in all the finals in 2022, Ash Johnson, but didn't get a look in last year. So a point to prove perhaps, or an opportunity which may still beckon for him if he can play his cards right. It's a Richmond ball at the moment. Taranto, the neat step which draws the applause. Out wide for Bolter, a little fan, then a low, scrappy, scroungy ball. This is Bolton up against the line. Kazitsky hits it fat. McIntosh maybe had the jumper claim for a moment, but it's out.
Four-leaf clover. Dusty Martin standing at the stoppage all on his own. Just he got that stoppage back at half-back. That's what started the run. I don't think we'll see that very often throughout the years. Expect Dusty to be around the ball a fair bit in the midfield.
DeGoey, Maynard, ever industrious out of there. Josh Dacos. Placement was perfect. Elliott.
got good numbers back. So Ryan back in the hole.
It's a bit more cautious approach this quarter. Both teams. Game's just, the edge has gone off it.
That's a heavy kick. Myercheck just got the accommodating bounce at the death. Had to go back a long way for Josh Dacos. Elliott just kicks it. Inverted torpedo. Not an easy one to get a hold of. Ash Johnson tackled immediately. Lipinski with the extra aggression. Crisp trying to wind his way through. He had Myercheck up his sleeve. Tough one for Schultz. Tried to play for the free. Side bottom, good goal or handball. He gives it off to Patrick Lipinski. And the Pies retake the lead.
Yeah, bad mistake there by Pickett. He lost his time again there. Just wobbled around in midair. It's like a punt returner in the Super Bowl. Just couldn't quite grasp that. There's a fair bit of sun out there as well. So good there by Collingwood though. Happy with that chaotic ball. Whack it in there. Get the ground level. I expect to see a bit of that this year, guys. Just that whack it in there to a contest. Get plenty of ground level support.
Yeah, nothing needs to be said about that. That's as a result of a drop chest mark. So the odds were Collingwood had 2 goals halfway through the 3 goals halfway through the second quarter. Pat Lipinski's got 2 of them. So it's a nice little bonus. He can find the footy, we know that. But if he can hit the scoreboard like this, it's going to help enormously.
95 AFL games for Pat Lipinski, 56 of them with the Bulldogs in 5 years before he came across and became a Pie. Cameron and Naismith getting a second chance at it in the middle. Cameron wasn't convinced about any of the handball options really. Dow, there's a path to goal for Baker or Hopper. As Jimmy Cracker style kick, and it might just about collect. Doesn't quite. Stays in. Cozzy caught. Frampton tried to bulldoze his way through. So did Bolter. None of them had any particular success rate. Bolter a handball. Dow somehow keeps it in Tiger hands, even though they're outside 50 now. Broad, a dogged Hill with the pressure. Back even further now. Young, high into the pocket. Late to was Naismith, and you really wouldn't want to stand in his way. Got the knees up and drags the footy down.
Great to see. Saw Samson Ryan in the first quarter, Gaz, with a strong mark in the goal square and a goal. This is what you want from your ruckman. You're going to come in there, you need to be able to contribute in the forward line, especially with no Tom Lynch at the moment. At least provide a strong contest. Put the fear of God into a field of defenders. Great grab by Naismith.
It's a great story of persistence too, isn't it? Repetitive knee injuries, 9 seasons for just 30 games. In the end, parted ways with the Swans. Went to Port Melbourne, had a full year. It's been picked up as some good insurance, and could be even more than that for the Tigers. This is there. The path of ruckman these days, it's quite interesting, isn't it?
You never give it away, Hutto.
Late in life, don't you?
There's always something going to happen.
Well, you take a while to physically develop, so...
If you're 206 centimetres and a big boy like that, Brownie, you want to be able to charge into a pack like that.
Yeah, love it.
Pickett drops another mark. The time in the forward line. And now the chain of handballs starts to grow, and so does the Collingwood confidence. Noble, toss high, half forward. Johnson competes. Schultz and 3 Tigers, hence the kick off the ground. It could swing his way towards goal. The Collingwood fans were getting ready to give a big cheer for Lachie Schultz. They can just wait a little longer. Two points the margin now. Short at full-back. From out of the shadow into some of the little remaining sunshine at Icon Park. Up to the wing. Bolter maybe had the arms dragged down. Markov hammers it slightly wayward. It's Tyler Young.
One of games last year, Hutto.
Yeah, soccer background, so played footy first and then soccer for quite a long period of time. Back at the game and really has had a real handle on it pretty quickly. Excellent pick-up for them. Tigers +5 in the clearances. Dow. Graham tried to work his way past to go. He put the stop sign up. Bolton now to half forward. Taranto waiting at the front. Martin versus Maynard. Whisked away by Baker. High ball. Dustin Martin kept on coming. Got to the perfect place. He had the goal umpire very excited for a moment. Quainer just gets bowled over by Kazitsky. A little rough around the edges. Shares it with Sideborough. Here's Bobby Hill. And he can go for a run. Just takes the one bounce as he was eating up the ground. Now gets some more. Off to Degoe. Collingwood at half forward. Johnson, Broad, gave it everything. Did fall in his back, but the umpire said it was out of bounds.
Just like to see, just like to see his players, his team defence tighten up. Collingwood this quarter just starting to transition. The ball goes from end to end. A lot better than they were in the first quarter.
Yeah, they've been confronted, weren't they, every time they tried to get out of their back half, but it's opened up a little bit of fatigue perhaps kicking in. First real crack at it, hot day, but if your structure's in place, then you shouldn't get split open like that. Enjoyed Thomas Dow's work, going in the middle. I know you spoke about it earlier, just a different...
There's Bobby. Just reminding everyone that he is the Norm Smith medal winner.
Well, Bobby had his first kick, only his first touch only a moment before that, and he's hit the scoreboard. So
easy to do that.
He's on
Brown.
Yeah, Timmy Brown there. He'll turn his back to the plate.
That's experience, isn't it?
Oh, you don't want to be turning your back.
Nah. Great set play.
Good straight past him, didn't he? So there's a young man who'll go in with his line coach. I'm not sure who's the defensive coach there is, and he'll sit him down and say, how can we do this one better? You're playing on Norm Smith medalist, you turn your back to the play, you know how you're going to defend, you don't know where the ball is, and he just screwed it straight past him. If you are going to do that, you can't get past like that.
It would be a nightmare being an opposition defender against those 40-50 stops for Collingwood. They've got so many weapons, so many options they can go to. You put Degoe in there, obviously Nick Dacos as well.
Ben Rutten might still be in charge of defence down there.
Yeah.
8 points the margin.
Well, he's in love with Maileti Lafau. He said we spoke to him pre-game, so he might be the defensive coach, but geez, was he talking him up?
Great story, isn't it?
Can't wait to see him.
Elliott, Nick Dacos, and Big Mason. And they have just got away a little bit here, Collingwood, from the Tigers.
Yeah.
Getting through a few tackles.
Kicking efficiency's been improved. They've hit the important ones.
He apologised a few weeks ago for some Taylor Swift fans that he was sitting in front of on the floor, just obscuring their view, which you could understand. Big Mason, he's missed that to the right. He's apologising to his teammates now.
Hit the post there. What they did early in this game was just got brushed aside way too easily. From a contested ball point of view, they're pretty souped up, the Tigers, and they're just pushing Collingwood aside, and that gap was massive. Well, they now got their nose in front from a contested footy point of view. So they just got to work, the Premiers. They're a bit slow out of the blocks, Brownie. They had an opposition who were pretty fired up early, but they've just taken control.
11 or 12 of those players for Collingwood didn't play the game last week, guys.
Yeah.
First competitive hit out against opposition.
Kazitsky closed well there to disrupt in flight. And we'll have the ball up. The beautiful night now. The heat's just gone out of the evening.
Sure is, Hutto. It's absolutely sensational at ground level now.
Gaz has been a little grumpy till now, but we've opened the window up and just
Thank you, Anthony.
just circulating through nicely.
Perpetuating a stereotype that's not quite right, but there is a breeze that's coming through now that's pleasant.
Still 8 minutes remaining in the second quarter.
Condensed, isn't it? Condensed field too when you look at it from here. They're just squeezed in between the arcs here.
Gibcus, and there is Kazitsky. Got a good run at it that time. Kicks quickly. Collingwood pretty well structured behind the ball. Good contest from Baker. And might have drawn a free kick out of all that.
He could kick this, Baker. Certainly got the lead.
He got an excellent good short, but he was running under his left foot, so he didn't give it.
Played his 100th game last year, 4th successive time in the top 6 in the best and fairest. Liam Baker. Quainer to Hill. Powers out of there. Contained the kick nicely for Cox, who was told just to press the pause button for now.
So that's good from Bobby Hill, who couldn't find the footy, but now he's worked up, into their defensive half to get involved and then try and get the footy on the way back.
Oops, for Jordan De Goey. Brown cuts hard the other way. Naismith and Maynard. And he just wouldn't get moved off the footy. The big fella picked it up from the pocket. Thought he was Eddie Betts for a moment after Carlton training.
He can't do that, mate.
You wouldn't have missed that.
No, I wouldn't have missed that one.
Neither would Jono. Elliott.
There's this fast break that's just starting to open up a little bit.
It hasn't been breakneck speed, though, has it, Gaz? They've still played with... they've been very measured. Just been able to they've been able to find their spare teammate on the way through, and just Richmond just having problems with it at the moment. Well, it may have been a directive at quarter time. Hayden Skipworth, who's the Collingwood coach today.
Markov. Up and under for Myercheck. It's a great chance for him, whose name was thrust about as maybe a late little smoky for the Richmond job, which Adam Uzo eventually got.
He was strongly mentioned in a few quarters, and then in the end, I think decided himself that he wasn't quite there. I think it's a good opportunity tonight.
Mitchell. Schultz. Not sure the umpire saw it. Off to De Goey, who can launch from 55. Well and truly within his range. He makes it easily.
Trying to show their class now.
Yeah.
To go, he's had a big quarter.
That's 3 in a row.
Yeah, 7 touches this quarter. A couple of clearances. Just like the way they've built up Collingwood here. It just hasn't been that breakneck speed. They've really thought about their approach with ball in hand.
There's, you have a look at that again, you'll see Jacob Hopper, who the whistle gets blown. Jacob Hopper turns and looks at the umpire, puts his hands out, and Jordan De Goey runs straight past him and gets a handball. So, again, this is what happens in pre-season. Adam Uzo would hate seeing that, and I reckon Jacob Hopper would hate it as well, but early on in the piece, the concentration's not there, and Jordan De Goey made the most of it.
Jono said that that's probably the goal that he'd like to kick, that one. Not from the pocket, but a goal like that.
Okay. Out to 14 points, game high advantage now. And De Goey just thrust Prestia away once. Second time Prestia has more success. Slows down the progress. Naismith. Prestia toes it. Baker takes it. Campbell takes out Hoskin Elliott. The footy skewed forward.
Frampton down the other end from the grand final last year, Gaz. Played on Harris Andrews as a bit of a decoy forward.
Yeah. Without Howe and Murphy back there tonight in particular. Here's De Goey again. Josh Dacos to centre half forward to Schultz, but as he has for more than a decade, Dylan Grimes already thinking about the next kick, got in and takes the mark. Cross through Young and out to Naismith, who continues to impress. Broad cuts the angle. Good body work from Markov, not to give away the free. Naismith's getting to the footy a lot more than you might expect just for a big lumbering. Crisp, all on his own. Elliott, unexpectedly and inexplicably, drops the mark. Again, the arms in the reach of Grimes. Broad, McCreary, he had that hunting look in his eye.
Gee, the turnovers in the last 3 minutes. Both teams are on a fast break on turnover. When they're playing their best footy, you'd expect them to go the distance, but they've just handed the ball back.
Lipinski softened it a little bit, and that was just to the favour.
That's a great kick, and let's see if we can go back and have a look at the lead, whether there was an understanding of Johnson and Lipinski, because Brownie, if you're in sync, if your forward and your kicker are in sync, there's not much you can do. He pulls his kick at the last minute, Lipinski.
Well, you like to think you've spent a lot of hours over the pre-season, Gas, working on chemistry. The most important thing for a forward is understanding his kickers up the field, what their tendencies are, where they want to go. It's that connection and that chemistry. That's Johnson. Normally a pretty accurate set shot for goal as well. Wanting to get this.
Perfectly behind him. Doesn't really have the inclination to work back.
It's good, though, to see where he came from. He was the one that probably came from the deeper spot to hit the spot hardest, and Lipinski delivered beautifully.
Lipinski, probably their best ball user into the 50, or one of their most reliable anyway.
He's been their #1 player in this quarter, Hutto. He's been sensational in terms of his work rate, Lipinski.
There's the origin of the lead,
Yeah,
yes.
so there's a couple of players there, and he came deep enough, and this will give him great confidence, because once you commit to something and you get rewarded with a kick like that, you're inclined to do it again.
Dow, terrific to get onto the footy. Double grab from Taranto, slowed them down. Martin, as he often does, found a way out. Pickett going to be tested here. Dacos trying to make it even more difficult. Well thought through from Graham to Rioli. Not the best of handballs. Had to accommodate the bounce for Pickett, and that probably then meant the next phase was a little bit untidy as well. But Graham gets them inside 50 to full forward. Kazitsky flew. Third up in the pack. Looked fantastic. Goes at it again. Bolton. Tackle on Markov. Can they lock it away? Baker was just sweating on.
Good sides, though. The Richmond forwards, Kazitsky, we've seen it with Ryan and Naismith, and Bolter, of course, who does it all the time, just launching themselves at the ball. You know, Collingwood have had some fantastic intercept defenders. Murphy and Howe are not there tonight, but you need to launch at the ball as a forward.
Frampton with the placing kick for Cox.
Like that.
So got up
Maybe
very
a little
early.
bit later. Not happy with the decision, Mason.
Yeah.
Asking questions.
I did ask the Collingwood boys about a decision in that grand final that was Mason Cox upset about, and they said, oh, don't worry, he doesn't know the rules still. Bolton, Martin, McIntosh. Pies guarding with Hoskin Elliott.
Good mark.
He does offer a bit, doesn't he, in different positions. Hoskin Elliott, he can run, he can be that extra wingman.
And they've put him to Dustin Martin quite often when Martin's gone forward as well, so that's the ultimate flexibility, if he can run and do what he can do, but also play on someone of Martin's calibre.
Well, he's been good when he's gone back.
Yeah, he has.
That half back.
Dacos for Johnson. Elliott, a potential option. He's going wider for Myercheck. Minute 40 remaining.
It would have been good, Hutto, this quarter. I think there's been a change of philosophy quarter time. May have been reminded, just obviously stiff enough defensively, but just with ball in hand, just be a little bit more measured. Don't be going breakneck speed, helter-skelter. Just think about the way you move the ball. They've been able to find their spare teammates and move the ball into the forward line and get a lead.
He ended up heading down the stairs there, Jack Crisp, but just lost his footing. Just as the Pies fans were getting excited. Don't forget, it is the Charity Shield tonight, raising funds for Food Bank. We'll tell and show you how you can help and donate. Plenty of people doing it tough at the moment. This is the inaugural Charity Shield up for grabs tonight.
57,000 meals a day they provide.
It's amazing.
Do a fantastic job.
Back to the wing. Jumpers are plenty. Baker toppled over. Here's Dustin Martin to try and craft something forward. It was a little bit too crafty for his teammates, and scooting away with it was Noble. Now Lipinski via Josh Dacos. Out wide to McCreery. Grimes, timely fist. To clear a little path back there. And the kick from Gibcus is okay to Bolton. He knows McIntosh is ahead, and so is Daniel Rioli. Kazitsky was a little slow to turn, just a fraction, just a step, and it meant the Collingwood defenders could defend.
Yeah, it just makes it easier. So the forwards running sideways or laterally across the forward 50 zone, it makes it so much easier for opposition defenders to cut off the angles. Just need to change his lead up there, Jacob Kazitsky. Obviously he needs to spend more and more time with his teammates at training, just getting that connection piece going.
Looks like Richmond will have the last chance for a potential score. No mark. Baker. And forward tonight. Second quarter, Collingwood will kick 3-5 to 3 points to take the lead. Awkward for McIntosh. And it's going out of bounds on the foot. Brody Myercheck's ball, 8 seconds. It's going to be beyond him, bar a very long kick. And they don't even get time to attempt it. So a quarter where the reigning premiers were able to wrestle back momentum first and then capitalise on the scoreboard. Charity Shield, raising funds for Food Bank, and it's the Pies who put their foot down in the second quarter. Tigers goalless, so I'm sure we'll see a few other players get a run in the second half, Gary, but Richmond would want to just turn things around a bit on what they delivered in that second term.
Yeah, they had great moments early, but the ascendancy was wrested off them by Collingwood. I've loved Sam Naismith. He's the positive out of this. I know the big fella, the captain's not here. Well, I'll tell you what, they've got a willing competitor here. Most contested possessions on the ground. He's had an opportunity to kick a couple of goals. Usual suspects for Collingwood have been outstanding. So DeGoey and Dacos were the ones who were the dictators. But Naismith's been the story, I reckon.
They were the two ruckmen at one stage at Sydney, weren't they? Naismith and Nankervis, and they both ended up finding their way to Tigerland. He got the tap, jumped up early. Nick Dacos goes to work. Maynard timed his run. Crisp hasn't quite been as influential as we saw in the finals. He's whacked that one inside 50, and Elliott got to the drop.
Yeah, and this, if you're looking at the positives from Collingwood's point of view, they got going in the second quarter, and it was Jordan DeGoey, Nick Dacos who started to control the ball. But these are the benefits that will come of that. Once they get better footy down here, Elliott will bob up. We haven't seen Mason Cox hit the scoreboard yet, but keep pumping it down there and giving these players opportunity. They're bound to bob up at some stage.
Surprisingly, didn't kick a goal in the grand final, but
always a dangerous matchup, though,
always,
isn't he?
yeah.
He plays more like a tall
player
player
too, hasn't he, at times?
Beautiful set shot, great pressure kick over the journey.
And he was pretty emotional after the game. He's had plenty of injury setbacks to realise his premiership dream. Markov couldn't quite get the access he was after. Fell nicely for Brown. Now Presti had to move a couple of ways and he ran out of avenues to escape Jack Crisp.
That certainly improved since probably halfway through the first quarter, that pressure from Collingwood.
Wasn't a great kick. Naismith is still disposing of bodies, so the kick was played wide for Lipinski.
They've just played with more composure since quarter time onwards. Their Collingwood mids were running out of gas. They're up and down the ground. They're going too fast.
Cox was circling before he led. The two forwards would love the sort of movement he provided and perfect timing on the mark.
And what happens is sometimes, the familiarity will come, and this is a familiar look. A half-pulled kick to a big Mason Cox who leads out from full forward. And early on in the game, they're just belting that in and not thinking about where they were kicking it. But now, as you said, composure, a bit more considered. Oh, this is what we do when we go forward to Mason Cox. We put him out in the hole.
Still kicked 17 goals in 19 games last year. And he kicks truly there as Collingwood's lead expands.
Richmond has been on the end of that kick a couple of times against Mason Cox. Most notably in the prelim final a few years back, just that pulled kick. I love that. I love when there's the great chemistry, Gaz. Yeah, because it's really important. I think with forward line play, I know you pull your hair out all the time when you watch Melbourne at times go into the forward line. That's been a debacle, but Collingwood, it's been a great strength of theirs. And I know how much of a focus it is for Craig McRae. He comes from a development background. He's big with his kicking, and he would stress this to his guys all the time. This is a key fundamental in the game.
We sung the praises of Naismith there. He or Gibcus had to take that front spot. He had to take that hole away from the one area that Mason Cox has been able to beat most players, and that is running onto a half kick ball.
Meantime, Darcy Cameron has the ruck duties and did win the football, but as you saw, there was no way he could get rid of it. So now it's the ruck wrestle. Prestia, nimble as ever, threading for the strength of Taranto to come to the fore. Able to work all the way around and kick it inside more. The spoil side bottom. Oh, scrapes his way out of there with a kick. Martin just flicks the handball. Campbell's kick is smothered. Came to Bolton. Goals are hard to come by for the Tigers. They have been all night, as you can see with the scoreboard.
Almost 30 inside 50s for 2 goals. Now, of course, it was scratchy early. They were dominating and pumping it in there, missing goals that you'd expect them to kick, but that's not a return that they'll be wanting to see become a trend as the year rolls on.
Darcy Moore favours Cox and Cameron both there together. Darcy Cameron drags it down. Haven't seen the likes of McRae, McGuinness, Harrison or Dean for Collingwood. And likewise Miller, Ross, Green and Lafau still sitting on the bench for the Tigers. Good tackle. They forced the turnover and Naismith again involved in sending it Richmond's way. Young, one-on-one, Bolter, Moore. They're joined by Bolton. Never dangerous, but this man still full of dash. Mark off to half-forward. Here's Ash Johnson, both hands around it. Wasn't particularly easy. Naismith, ball came his way. Broad, McIntosh.
I think that's better by Ash Johnson. His lead up, his presence, and just that Mason goal beforehand. Ash moved around, blocked for Mason, gave him that space to leap at it. So it's better work rate from Ash.
Great to have Eddie Betts and Brad Johnson roaming the boundary for us tonight, and they'll be all part of the action this year on Fox Footy. Kazitsky. Frampton left his man. Here's Bolton weaving. They've kicked a lot of points, particularly to that end.
I do like the look of it though, Gaz, more as a permanent forward shape. You can get enough football there. Of course you want to see him in some centre bounces. He's so dynamic there, but it's going to be a dangerous matchup throughout the season for any opposition.
It's a little late-ish clip, and that's worth 50.
Well, he set Mason Cox on his backside early, and Mason looked at the umpire and did get a free, so Darcy Cameron thought he'd fly the flag for his fellow ruckman and clipped him over the lug hole. Watch this one. Oh, across his snout, in actual fact. Hence the 50-metre penalty.
Worth 50, Gary, do you think?
Yes. Was that you, Bradley? Or was that Eddie?
Brad.
That was you, Brad. Yes, I think so, Brad. He knew exactly what he was doing, Darcy.
Hasn't kicked a goal in AFL footy, Tyler Young, and this won't count as one, even if he puts it through, but that'll be worth the practice, and they're going to come for him like he has kicked an AFL goal.
He's done the salute, too.
What do you do, the bow and arrow or the...
Just the one arm in the air.
If he kicks one now in round one, do they have to come through him or not?
No.
Nice kicking style for the defender. There it is here. Cameron, actually, in fairness to him, he did hit the ball first. That gets you off at a tribunal, Gaz. Just got the ball.
He did too. He did, right.
I think that would be the main defence if it was a heavier whack.
I don't think he's got any issues anywhere other than the 50 metres he's given up, and there it is. He's happy to be on the board.
19 games last year. Part of that young defence with Gibkiss as well. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Young Brown, who's out there tonight as well. Got the experience there with Grimes and Broad, and when Vlosten comes back in.
Some really strong one-on-one numbers defensively last year. North Albury product by Frankston VFL. It's back to 13 points now. Nick Dacos kept his balance. Johnson covering a bit more territory. Marks turns. Bobby wants it. Bobby can't get it. Pickett. Rioli, good backup. Now they can thrust forward. Young handball just in the nick of time. No feet for Hopper, but kept it alive. Dow flings it for Daniel Rioli.
Can they get through the Tigers as they did in that first quarter?
Good turn from Dow. Baker low to the ground. Handballed it to Ranto. One more and they're in the clear. He gets the one more, but Collingwood had covered a few more bases by then, so it's still heavy going. Baker, and then the handball forward does turn over. Mitchell and Frampton. Well, it's coming again from Pickett.
That is the difference though, Browning, and that Collingwood kept at it. Hutto's called it beautifully. Almost, one more, almost, but they didn't.
Bolter, one, but not the two. Bolton took on three, put the arms up. He's made his case to the umpire to go. He didn't bother taking possession. He knew Nick Dacos was coming through.
Showtime here, Hutto.
Yeah, Myercheck swings it back into the middle. Bobby Hill, McCreery, the handball just went behind him. Slowed a little. He's tried to get creative, hoping that Schultz gets the right bounce. Tom Brown, and I think he might have got it, Lockie.
Easy to be out of juice. Just go back to... Yeah, it was great. Right on there, Lockie. He's come across from Fremantle Dockers. Really talented small forward. All starts with Nick Dacos again, though. So you just look at him when he comes off half-back. I know, just back a little bit from there, but Dacos straightens up and then he cuts back into the centre square, wants to hit the target inside the centre square. I think it was Myercheck, then switches to the open side. Just such a difference between that and going to the boundary side.
And a much more proactive setup ahead of the footy, and Ash Johnson is involved in that. I mean, he was the one giving the big lead. This is the Dacos. That came on the back of the De Goey tap on.
Just more inbound.
So De Goey didn't take possession, just double-handed tap down to Nick Dacos. So it was the reverse of that big moment late in the game. And then as you look, but look here. So there's Johnson's lead. That's an aggressive. Now, when you're doing his tape, you say, "Hey, you don't get a touch of that," but you've opened up space behind you for Lachie Schultz to run into, and it was a good decision, the kicker, to put it into space then. So they're chugging along here nicely, the Pies.
Back to 19. Ryan in the ruck now for Richmond. Maybe put his arm over his shoulder.
Clear out the back, yeah, you're right. Clear out, go with him, go with him.
One thing the umpires are being instructed this year to do is to get out of the road of the 45 kicks. Try and encourage that ball movement. So hopefully they can accomplish that. It's the second year with the 4 umpire system. Elliott, that's the back. There's Dow trying to clean it up. Hopper had no real way of being able to control his handball. So Markov sending it deep to Schultz. Brown with the spoil, fell for Broad a little unexpectedly. Left kick is nice from short to McIntosh. So now Richmond will get a look off half-back. Bolton gave the instinctive give. Keep possession along half-forward from short to Bolter, who can give it an almighty thump. Kazitsky, tough work against Moore on that occasion.
Yeah, elite defender, of course, Darcy Moore, but that's still an area where Jacob Kazitsky can still improve. Just his body work, he obviously has a tendency to lead. He's a good leading forward, but you've got to be multi-dimensional. You've got to be able to stand there and wrestle or take the contested mark when you need to. Certainly get it to the advantage of your crumbing teammates.
Bolter got low, he got to the front. To Goey, being watched very carefully. Mitchell watching Martin. To Goey and Hopper. Markov. Josh Dacos.
It's been a low inside 50 mark game, so maybe not to anyone's great surprise, but 34 entries for 5 marks for the Tigers so far, and some of that stuff early in the piece, they're getting really good looks, so they'll go to work on that and see where where their forwards were leading to and why they couldn't perhaps get on the end of it and set up an easier shot at goal.
Taranto played the footy. Noble likewise. Taranto called on again. Noble. McIntosh. Baker called for it. Took the perfect execution.
And that's when you start to get your marks inside 50 and set up an easier shot. Now it's no lay down, of course, but that's the sort of composure you want. And the more footy you play, this will come back into it. But 30 or 35 times, and you've only been able to hit a target 5. You'd want to be able to at least hit up another 5 times when you go in. This is one of the ways to do it. Lowy rise, easy kick, easy mark.
Debuted in 2018, played in 2 of the flags, and a regular up in the best and fairest count. Just not getting anywhere near it at that end of the ground. In Lygon Street end. 16
scoring shots, so that for 14. So it could be a different story, I suppose, if you look at it that way.
Maynard. It's Campbell who was attending the mark for the Tigers. Hasn't been able to get his hands on the footy too much yet. Schultz on the turn. Getting busy, Elliott to full forward. Where's Bobby? Can't take the mark. Off hands, Johnson. Timed it well. Dacos. You'd think he would from there. And he doesn't disappoint.
Yeah, good build-up again by Collingwood. It's been a feature since quarter time. They've moved the ball with great precision. Been able to change the angles nicely. Dacos been a big part of that. Just his running. They just get the numbers into the front half,
Like
whether it's
Schultz.
starting off half-back. Schultz been a good contributor, guys.
Getting involved a bit, isn't he?
Yeah.
Talking to Bradley Johnson down there, Jono, he was not lost, but when you're playing a new system, it takes a little bit of time to find your feet and work out where the ball's going and how quickly. And at this quarter, he's started to find a bit more of it.
You must be having a hot dog, Jono. Or avocado. You're eating avocados down there, right?
But no, you're spot on with Schultz. Like the way that he has worked in this quarter, because his first half was really quiet. He was caught out of position on that fast transition from half-back, which is what he will pick up over the next couple of weeks.
We'll let you finish it off, Jono, as Josh Dacos kicks to centre half forward. It's a little tall for Lipinski. There's Schultz again getting upended. Now Josh Dacos, aggressive tackle.
35 tackles, the Maggies. They just started to get more of an appetite. McCreary was the one that was leading the way.
Tagoe's been strong too, 6 clearances.
He's underneath this tap. He's a beauty too. Gets it forward. Here's Reef McGuinness for the first time. Turns smartly from 30 out.
Ooh.
Would have liked a
Very
better
nice
finish.
start to the audition.
It's the way to come on and make a bit of a statement. It's Jag one early, a little half volley.
Clean re-entry. Pickett is eyeing off the corridor. Forced back onto the left, which is not a massive issue for him. So both teams have started to make some changes now. Steely Green is out there, number 48 for Richmond. Straight away goes into the top 5 for names.
Yeah, you got a few one-liners for him, Hutto. You're hoping he has a long career.
He was good in the match, Sim.
He was.
He got really busy as a small forward that likes to put on some pressure and knew where the goals were.
Just call them as they come, Brownie.
I'm sure he got a couple squirreled away there.
Here's Hill for Lipinski. Almost out of bounds to out of bounds on the foot. There he is.
He's picking a fight with Mason Cox.
Being compared to Liam Baker's style as a player. There's Cox dragging down the mark.
And he wouldn't be back with
It
his
is
coming
time,
forward.
this, guys. You've got experienced senior players out there. Yeah, this is midnight in the pre-season, isn't it? You're almost through it. Now you've got young bucks just trying to get a game. You're trying to take the foot off the accelerator.
Pickett accelerated at the right time. Left crisp behind Noble. Good spoil from Ryan.
Yeah, it's better. He went back hard, Ryan.
That was Charlie Dean we saw there, so they've all been released out onto the ground. He's number 43 for Collingwood.
Yeah, so key defender, so he gets a chance in the back half now. He's matched up against Noel Bolter, so it's a good test for him.
Harvey Harrison also out there at number 36.
Finn
And that
McRae.
man, Finn McRae. A lot of Collingwood fans are heavily invested in.
Yeah, well, he's made a bit of news or a bit of noise coming out of Collingwood about his pre-season, his ability to find the footy. So it's time for him to make a move, isn't it? I know it's hard to bust into a premiership team, but there will be change, and he'd want to be one of them.
There's Harrison delivered, crisp. McGuinness. Good spoil over the top from Gibcus. Tumbling forward Graham. Gibcus awkwardly but effectively by hand. Young. Campbell v Dacos. Good little win for Seth Campbell. Some good run off. Half back for the Tigers now. Dusty Martin kicks to full forward. Bolton the first but not the second.
Jeez, a good defence, wasn't it? So Dean was 1 on 2, really. Dusty's kick probably wasn't great. He ended up picking out the Collingwood player, but Noble got back to support him really well.
Maynard just strokes it to half forward where Lockie Schultz was ready for action. McCreary the deepest forward. Loping down there as well. Cameron and Mason Cox, who was the biggest target. Takes it in front of Mee Smith.
So again, it's one end to the other, Brownie, but you talk about run to support. So Dean's down there. He's got Dustin Martin about to kick the footy. He's in the middle of 2 Richmond players, and Dusty, it wasn't a great kick, but they got back and supported so well, and all of a sudden in the blink of an eye, it's up the other end of the ground.
Yeah, they converge so quickly. The Collingwood defenders, they believe in their system so much, doesn't it? And then they get there to support the teammates when maybe it breaks down for whatever reason.
To put it beyond 5 goals.
And that's the expectation. When you come into the team, that's the expectation. If you want to get a game for Collingwood, they built such a fantastic trust on the back of the premiership last year, and really the year before it was created, wasn't it? You know, when they made that run late into the final series.
So that unspoken play was Noble was coming back. He's virtually saying, listen, all you do is halve it and I'll beat it.
Yeah.
And
he was there.
He did, and he was there.
And Jamie Elliott might be done for the night, what we can see. Side bottom. Takes it to the extreme left. And there's Schultz, who's felt more and more part of it, I think, as the game's gone on.
Yeah, he's had a busy third quarter, Hutto. He started to find a fair bit of the footy.
Cameron. Gibcus sees it out. Still, McKelty Lafau hasn't made his first appearance on the ground yet.
McKelty, I don't know what I called him in that first half.
It wasn't that.
New Zealander with a rugby league background. It's a development time with the Storm.
He was exciting too. I can't wait till he gets on. Have another crack at his name.
Right. McKelty Lafau.
The great story when he got put on that list. There he is, the rugby league background, and then rang his mum to tell him he got there. It was fantastic. It was really emotional, and he ran around in that forward 50 there against Melbourne and put the fear into a few of the defenders. Had Jake Lever on his backside at one stage, so looking forward to McKelty.
Good reach from Broad. Graham. McRae eluded him in the air, the hopper. Pressure from Lipinski. Ooh, Naismith had no real options he was happy with. Broad. Kazitsky in front, Moore ever so close. Dean watching Bolton, that's no easy task.
Just shows the versatility you have to have as a Collingwood defender, though. Dean found himself on Bolton.
Take it back into the middle there, Mitchell in that Quainer, and it's go for Collingwood. Moore finds himself on the wing. Not the kindest of handballs for side bottom. Lovely little boot by Moore with a delicate touch. It's a spinning top on the wing for side bottom. McRae taken care of though by Hopper for now. We'll call the whole thing to a halt. As we've mentioned it a few times tonight, if you want to help out with the food bank, it's the Charity Shield. You can scan the QR code or head to the web address on your screen there and do give, because over 50,000 Victorians are currently being fed by food bank, and right around the state and the country people are doing it really tough, and this is a great opportunity with the help of two of the biggest clubs to do your bit. Richmond almost running aground on the wing. Campbell lends a helping hand. Bolton. Moore was just a little too tall and strong. Kazitsky, Prestia, McIntosh. Turns Collingwood's way again. Noble, here's Harrison. Bit of an up and under kick out of there by Charlie Dean. McGuinness, Dow, McCreary. Down the line to the ever-leading Myercheck, ever presenting. But Gibcus just marches away. Wins that little duel. And
Put the number 18, made famous, of course, by Alex Rant. And gee, if he could be half as good a defender, but he's got some athletic traits that enable him to get, like Myercheck went and presented so well, and we know he does that without question. But athletically, he was there, Gibcus, and ran away with it.
5 minutes in the third. There's that Quainer. Back was crashed. There's the crumbs. Pickett, McCreary, Harrison, McIntosh. Equal desperation shown from both teams. There's a good look at it at close quarters. Fighting back in the clearance count as the Knights continued. McRae, Cameron, first option on that, and couldn't quite get the grip there to stop him. Jaden Short.
It'll be interesting to split throughout the season, guys, with the rucks for Collingwood. as you said before, Hutto, Mason Cox worked his way into that first ruck roll later in the season last year. A fantastic fight back. You know, what's the split between himself and Darcy Cameron? Cameron certainly needs to be able to contribute when he goes forward.
Does the injury to McStay change which one they'd like to spend more time forward?
Probably does impact that, yeah.
Pretty close to the man on the mark.
Yeah, you would have thought more likely that Cox would play bigger minutes there because of the McStay loss. I think that's just going to be something that unfolds in the first few weeks of the season, just the style that Collingwood wants to play, certainly their forward line setup, what looks to work the best with their small forward talent.
Taken 8 marks, Mason Cox, 3 contested. So he's certainly aerially become a really big presence.
Here is Charlie Dean. Back from injury last year, Quainer. Named in the All-Australian squad, 6th in the best and fairest last year. Played every game, part of the leadership group, as Gaz mentioned earlier. Dow. Short. Baker.
Bolton's out.
He's got more to contend with.
What about that for coverage from Darcy Moore?
Yeah.
They're a bit slow to get it on, but just left his man and covered beautifully. There's that coverage we're talking about. It's expected. You leave your man, go to the most dangerous, and there's a few more dangerous than Shea Bolton inside 50 on his own. He just went automatically and got there.
To go. He hasn't been as big a factor in this third term. A terrific second term. McRae kept his footing while Samson Ryan was upended. And the ball ends up out of bounds.
I think Brownie's point from earlier starts to become very relevant now. I know as the guns start to look towards the bench. So who's going to get the hook here? Sit that last quarter out and just get yourself ready for round 1.
And the blokes that have just been pent up for 2.5 quarters start to come onto the ground.
Do you know what an injury this time of the year? Especially the game next week for Collingwood, or both these clubs.
You wouldn't want the bloke in your position to get injured either, would you?
No, and you wouldn't want the rugby league bloke to come on, jumping out of his skin for his first run.
Here's McRae. McGuinness or Johnson need a bounce. They're side by side, but they didn't quite stick together. .28 points is the margin. Have you seen anything, either of you, which has changed your mind about either team tonight?
No, not really. I think from a Collingwood point of view, they've just been professional and ground their way into a period of, not dominance, but superiority. And I think the Tigers are going to take a bit of time, but they started that game like a house on fire. They kicked 1 goal 7.
Yeah.
That's the only negative in it all, and it's reflected now on the scoreboard because they're behind, but they were exciting early.
Bolton goes for it in the end. Ryan wasn't far off, dragging down another exciting mark up forward. Took one earlier.
Yeah, no, it's been, look, Collingwood have been impressed in quarter time, but Richmond missing their captain though, Ian Curvis, of course, his heart and soul in there. Yeah, they're a different team without Tom Lynch. I know we've spoken a lot about Bolter going forward, but they really need Lynch to get back into the team, almost as that compass going forward, especially with the retirement of Jack Rewalt. That man's been pretty handy. Let's touch that.
Touched.
He's been positive.
He's centre square work.
He being Dusty. He looks like he's missed or lacking for nothing, and Shea Bolton's had his moment. So all the things that would get you excited as a Richmond supporter, you would be going away from tonight still pretty happy with.
Well, to me, it looks like Bolton will play more forward, and Martin will play more centre bounce, forward half midfield, Gaz.
Yeah.
At times, probably isolate himself. I love it when Dusty can isolate himself as a deep forward. You know, we saw that early on when they won the flag in 2017. More so than being a sort of half forward.
Clever from Pickett. And Dean got it well coming in as it was from William Baker.
There's a couple of times where they've had great looks going forward to Richmond that Adam Uze will go to work on, and we've got to capitalise on that. You know, we had Bolton out the back at one stage, Martin out the back at one stage, but they just, their depth of kicking wasn't quite there. So I think they're the things that in these pre-season games that you notice the most, that you lead and all of a sudden it's 10 metres short, whereas once the season starts, you work it out much better.
Grimes hasn't lost his judgment, as we see Adamuzad barking away, just leaning back a little. Grimes gallops away, every mongrel forward. And a nice little take, little late gift for Steely Green, just on three-quarter time. Not aware of the situation, unfortunately, there, but at least he gets a kick away in anger. It's three-quarter time, and it's Collingwood asserting their authority more and more as the game has gone on. 8-11-59, they lead Richmond 3. Now, Toby Nankervis, and hopefully back for the start of the real things for the Tigers. 8-11-59 plays 3-14-32 as we get into the last. Back in the centre again is Bolton, striding out there. McIntosh gives it a bit of a belt down to Bolter, and he got there and was able to hang on. Charlie Dean was his direct opponent that time. I was going to ask you two about how have you seen Bolter? It'll be something like a question that's asked pretty regularly early.
He's found it harder today. He's only kicked the one behind. Hopefully he kicks a goal here. That was a nice contest. You would have thought that Adamuzad is going to stick with it. Even though Tom Lynch comes back, I think he'd like to see Lynch and Bolter go against each other. Probably depends a little bit on the younger defenders for Richmond, how they hold up.
Quite been able to slot that.
But we saw it last week against Melbourne. He's more than capable as a forward, Gaz. He can provide a strong aerial presence.
I love it. I hope he stays there, and I hope Tom Lynch comes back, and between the two of them they can just have a presence and establish themselves. It'd be great for the Tigers.
So obviously team by team it might depend, but does one of them be the... Does he Bolter be the backup ruckman then, or is that... Can Samson Ryan play as well?
Yeah. They do look tall if you're playing four big monsters like that, but they'll work that out and come up with the best combination, just as...
And Nankervis is more of a workhorse ruckman, isn't he, Gus? Who likes to play 75% of the ruck time. So, yeah, you certainly could see that as a possibility.
Oscar Elliott. McGuinness couldn't quite get the position he was after, and there's Ben Miller on the ground now.
Four players. There's the free kick. Four players did there around the neck. They did get what they wanted with Josh Dacos, Nick Dacos, Jamie Elliott and Darcy Moore.
Okay, so they're gone.
They walked up the race into the ice bath.
Classic rucking and roving. Not quite the finish from Lockie Schultz.
They'll be happy, I think, with Lockie Schultz. Yeah. He's worked his way into the game, and not that we needed to see him. We know what sort of footy he can produce, but he's got better and better as this game's worn on.
Potentially awkward there for Miller on the half volley, but made a good fist of things. Now Taranto. Waynor flew and take the mark.
Sam and Darcy, thanks, guys.
27 points is the margin at the moment. Naismith took front position, going from head rather than hand. Dusty tries a couple of little moves just to make sure they still work, and they do. Hopper. Bolter is deep.
2-on-1 Bolter. He's got Maynard and Dean.
Foul is on the ground too, Gaz.
Ooh, good.
He's down there deep. He's not going to get to that contest, but he's ready. It bounces in a haphazard fashion. Dow put a tackle on, but couldn't stop Hoskin Elliott with a tumbling ball back through the middle. Mychek first back to it. Gibcus intent on the tackle. Now the backup crew. DeGoey, Lipinski, side bottom. Bobby Hill just on the 50.
Geez, that'll bring back nightmares to the Brisbane supporters.
Broad couldn't stop him, but his errant kick was good.
Saw that a bit on grand final day, that passage of play, but he finished on that day.
McIntosh was beckoning down the line. Good effort from Bolton. Cameron, I think, thought it was going to be to his own favour. Harrison versus Jack Ross, who's out there now for the Tigers. Taranto pistons the ball forward. Hopper with the flip. Bolton, just because it was Dusty, I think. Anyone else, he would have just kicked it down the line. Lafau against two pies. Might have earned himself. No, he's given away a foul.
He's a big boy, strong lad. 193.
Sort of one of those players you need to be aware where he is, I reckon, Brownie.
Yeah. Tell me like those key forwards, Gaz.
You might enjoy the contact side of things. We can't underestimate how big a thrill it would be for him to be out there against the reigning premier, having just won a spot on a list. It's a great effort.
And that's the challenge for Richmond, for Adam Muse and his coaching staff, Gaz, is who are the young ones they can find Richmond to come through and help keep the side back up contending for top 8.
Miller gives them a way forward.
As your premiership veterans drop off and retire, and obviously their form gradually drops away, certainly consistency of form. But these younger blokes come through like a Ross, like Dow, like Gibkiss.
And Brown in the back half.
Yep.
They're all what you're 100%
They're the questions, you're looking at. If you're a Richmond supporter, you're watching, okay, what are the green shoots, if you want to call an old term?
Ken Miller.
Well, we are at Icon Park, the home of the Blues,
That's
where
right, that's where
Brendan
it started.
Bolton was in charge with
the origins of the green shoots.
Green shoots. Here's Bobby Hill. Just improvised with the kick. Myercheck, lots of work to do, and he was able to do that. Well, decides to keep it in.
And for me, that's just been the challenge, and it's the challenge of any premiership dynasty team is those younger players coming through, especially through the midfield. So good to see Dow tonight, 5 clearances. They really need to find one there to support Prestia, Hopper, Taranto, Dustin Martin.
So I think Gibkiss would be one they'd be through with tonight.
Absolutely, no question
So
about it. Especially while we've spoken about Boulder, especially if they're going to play Boulder forward. Lynch doesn't play round 1.
Finn McRae shows he can use his left. McGuinness. Myercheck. There's a couple of handball options. And Lockie Schultz just tells him exactly that.
These Pies are going to be dangerous, aren't they, with some players to come back in. McStay, of course, we know, is gone for the year, but likely they'll get a Howe back, likely they'll get Pendlebury back. Not sure about Murphy for the round 1 game.
No, it doesn't seem that way for a little while at least. Naismith back to the wing. Here's Crisp. And side bottom, they're still moving it forward whenever they can. Mitchell. Taranto is not in the position to do much. Lipinski is slammed into the turf by McIntosh. All fine, says the umpire, which is good. Back to the wing now. Pies well stocked. Ooh. That was high.
Need to be careful there.
17 disposals and 3 behind tonight for Shea Bolton. Maynard as they look to find an angle or an opening. Oscar Elliott, side bottom.
Frampton deep, so you've got Frampton, Cameron, McInnes and Myercheck all in the goal square. And all the big boys are just squaring off, waiting for the ball to come in, see if they can do something. Not much science to it at the moment.
McRae, Blythe just sets it up. McGuinness was on the reach, short. Oh. A fumble and a recovery from Bolter. Ross cuts back in, and then Taranto goes back out. Pickett, Ross, Digwell evaded considerable trouble. Hopper, it's not pure. The foul, got rid of his opponent, and another, and then just couldn't quite connect by hand, but good to see him get his hands on the Sherrin. Miller, back to short, and he kicks it long and deep into that pocket. Kazitsky against 2 Pies, and one of them, Jack Chris, took a juggler, and that'll be 50. Oh, that's very generous. Down to you, Ed.
Yeah, guys, this Bobby Hill just came off the ground just now. He came off holding his right hamstring, but we think it may be cramp, but he's in the hands of the physios now, getting some treatment on it.
Thanks, Ed. Not ideal, obviously. Schultz didn't get perfect service, but good enough to keep it in. Skies along the boundary and then drops it in under the chest of Reece McGuinness, and might as well go back and have a shot from there and just test himself out over 50.
Bit of pressure on this kick though, Hutto. Just wanting to get his name up there for round one. Every little bit counts.
Schultz's ball use has been really good too, so we know with his pressure and things he can find the goals, but this Collingwood forward group are going to enjoy him kicking the footy inside 50.
A little skip, McGuinness. It's not coming back.
We know how much Craig McRae values kickers, talented kickers, so that certainly would have fell within the filters, what Craig McRae and the rest of the panel were looking for in the off-season, and they want to keep improving the list.
McGuinness has played 11 games since debuting in 2022. 3 of his 5 games last year was as the sub. 10 goals in his last 3 VFL games as well, to increase his credentials for that forward spot. Lipinski back to Chris with a run-up. Just too tall for Hill, but perfectly designed for the man we were talking about.
I think this is what, like, we've got 11 and a half minutes to go, that this is what you'd be looking for in this last quarter, is that stuff's going to open up everywhere. Like, there'll be pressure, but once you get out, you will find that there are free targets. Both coaches will be looking who can execute, who can keep a hold of the footy. The Tigers have been a bit messy in that area. When they've had players free, they just haven't quite finished, whereas Collingwood have been a bit more clinical when they've gone forward particularly.
It's a little simpler, and he delivers. Could be a big year for this young man. Reece McGuinness puts it through. Pick 23 way back in 2020, so he's had to be patient from the Oakley Chargers. He played alongside the likes of McRae and Bianco.
Kicked 8 of the last 9, the Magpies. So, you know, we understand the goal kicking 3-15, but they've been reasonably dominant since about halfway through that second quarter. So again, this guy's playing for a spot. He's going to keep presenting in the. He doesn't care that there's 10 minutes and 55 seconds to go. All he'll do is keep presenting and trying to make the most of every opportunity. So let's see who can execute. I don't think there's any excuse for not being able to find a target at this late stage of a practice match when there's players that will end up being out.
Another reminder, this is the Charity Shield, raising funds for Food Bank. Proceeds from the ticket sales tonight, as well as your donations, can help over 50,000 people in Victoria being fed by Food Bank. And shout out to Matt Tilley and his team at Food Bank, who are doing a great job. Every dollar received by Food Bank, they're able to provide 2 meals for someone in need. It's that simple.
Right on there by D. It was well read. Great anticipation at the centre bounce. You see he's on his toes there, waiting for the quick gig in. Good sign from a young defender for Collingwood.
Mitchell.
You never know. You know, with Murphy not being there, potentially round 1, Howe looks like he'll get up, but who knows what will happen in the next 10 days. So he's giving himself every opportunity.
Maynard rolling on the left. McCreary late in the piece didn't go for the high mark. Can McCreary be a part of the midfield?
Yep.
Potentially.
Yeah, impact player. Sure. I like that. His energy. He hits hard too.
Pace, separates himself.
Billy doing some ruck work. Down to Harvey Harrison. Miller got away from him. Johnson, nice collect. Even better give. McCreary fisted away. The danger's still there. Perfect though for Baker.
That's a better kick.
To Bolter, and now they are charging back. Campbell and Kazitsky. Kazitsky puts a tackle on. Ross tries to make the choice as to who to find inside the 50. And it's Liam Baker, who was instrumental in getting it down there in the first place.
It's an interesting stage where he's at, Ross. So he didn't play the early part, did he?
No, he didn't.
Late, and not sure where that gives us indication where he is in the pecking order. He's behind, obviously, Taranto and Hopper and
Sort of behind Dow, it seems, at the moment too.
Yeah,
The way the season started last year as well, he had to fight his way to get back into the team. But ended up being a regular, as that man certainly is. Liam Baker, 4th goal only for the night for the Tigers. It's most welcome at this stage. It's back to 29 points. Still a chance here, Browning.
Oh, come on, Hutto. No, it's been good to see, though. Different stages of their development, especially the new coach with Richmond. Where do you see Richmond at, Gaz?
Well, I think they're going to be struggling or battling, is probably a better way of putting it, to get inside that top 8. You would never write them off, or you wouldn't say they're not without a chance, but I don't know, maybe you got them just outside at the moment. Tom Lynch clearly becomes
a key,
a big important part of it, but
you feel like everything would have to go right for them, wouldn't it?
Well, but given when you try to do that exercise, who you leave out.
Exactly.
So they're probably not playing, or haven't played, and who would know? These are really early days, but yeah, I think you're right, Hud. I think everything would have to go right.
Ryan, stylishly out of the middle. That was a beautiful.
There's 2 kicks that we're talking about in succession. So Short hits up Baker with a beautiful pass. Baker good enough to mark and convert, and then Baker repays the favour with the sort of kick that we're talking about. You've got to get some value for your possessions in this game, particularly late when there's things that are going to open up. That's just an absolute belter kick.
Chance, really the first good chance to hit the scoreboard. 20 games for 27 goals in his first year at Hawthorn, 16 games for 18 goals in his second, just 12 games last year for 9 goals, 10. And unfortunately, that is only a minor score.
That was a tied kick, Hunter. That was a 35-metre, 40-metre kick that just got there.
Looks like teams haven't fixed the old kicking for goal in the off-season.
No,
we're still going to be talking about it.
It's about 100 years, I reckon, Hutto.
13 goals, 30. We can enjoy on this pristine evening.
Maynard as they sweep their way from one side of Icon Park to the other. Here's Charlie Dean. Tough as nails defender. Noble. Side bottom, waited for him to get to the next part. Now to Lockie Schultz, been impressive. 13th disposal coming up.
He'll be wrapped. His contribution tonight, fitting into the team.
1 goal, 2.
Confident going into round 1.
Cox couldn't fly. He's on all sorts of angles. It just sneaks out the back. Johnson couldn't get a boot to ball, so had to be content with another throw in the forward pocket. 7 minutes remaining.
Billy, thanks.
Asked you the broader question about it, the team individually. Has anyone jumped up as Daniel Rioli try and get creative? There was elements of danger in all of that. McGuinness flicked around back in safe hands for the Tigers to McIntosh.
Well, in terms of players that we expect to play well, they did. From Collingwood's point of view, you can reel off a dozen of the ones that you really wouldn't be surprised with. Gibcus out of all of them, and Naismith on the other side of the 2 that I've really enjoyed watching. They just look like they're going to be really good contributors. And Trando and Hopper obviously could do what they're doing. Baker always puts his head over footy, but trying to find something that they didn't have, they're 2 that spring out or jump off the page.
Thompson Dow does well.
Just about the same, Hutto. Here's the one you're always looking for your midfield to build. Where's your young midfield talent coming out? That's the engine room. Richmond struggled in that part of the ground there for a while. Shea Bolton's certainly been able to go in there and have an impact. But Thompson's out tonight. 5 clearances, 18 disposals, kicked a goal. So it's great to see. He develops into an AFL, a full-time AFL midfielder. Well, he's never going to be the strongest build, but he certainly looks like he's strengthened up over the off-season. He'll gain confidence out of tonight's game. And Collingwood on that, I suppose on the other side of things, Gaz, is the guys that missed out in the grand final. Yeah. So I know Lipinski was a sub, but Lipinski certainly looks to me to be in their best 22. John Noble, Lockie Schultz, but John Noble, he'll be hungry. Desperate, of course, missed out last year. He's a good game tonight.
So you want Finn McRae now to finish really strongly. He's getting an opportunity, gets his hands on the footy there.
Storming out of the middle, Jack Crisp. Johnson had to really stretch for it. Broad contends and defends. Short, outside 50, not for long. Lipinski had McRae.
What about it was McInnes and Ash Johnson were the two that they went with?
Did they go with one? Or do they just go with Mason Cox playing a bit more there, and Darcy Cameron obviously got Myercheck. You know you've got Jamie Elliott, who's like a marking type player anyway, and then your small forwards with Schultz coming in. We know how good Bobby Hill's been there. Got plenty of good contributors. Dacos always floating down there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, won't it, when that first team is picked. McInnes has come on with some real energy. He's only had 3 touches, but he kicked 1 goal too.
Bo McCreary's another small forward there. So they may just run out of room in the midfield. Penrith bring Howe to come back in. So they'll run out of room in the forward line because they want to have enough midfielders on the bench.
Don't hold! Face the footy!
Darcy Cameron. A couple of Tiger fans getting a good look. Staying silent for now. Margin is 22 as it stands. Tough kick. Not a bad effort. The other story about McKelty Lafau, of course, is he kicked 25 goals in one game for St Kilda City to win the goal kicking award in the last game of the season.
Yeah,
so a bit of help from his teammates.
The bloke he beat wasn't happy.
No, not happy. He can be part of history though now.
Yeah, he gets him. I don't know who it was, but he had a pretty decent lead, I believe, going in that last round.
He got a rude shot.
He did.
It's probably going to be one of those stories that's told about him until he does something at this level. 23 points, 4 minutes remaining. Not quite the defend scenario, is it, at the end of the game? If Richmond kick one here, it might be. And there he goes. Oh, just bitten a little bit too much off there. No, the umpire says that's okay. No, he's going to be physical. Richmond, look at the big ground ball differential. It's one thing where they're way ahead. Darcy Cameron at half back. With the footy now. It sneaks out McCreary. Sensed he had a little moment. Tom Brown.
Great way to start the pre-season though now, Hutto. The charity shield between 2 big clubs. Fantastic fundraiser for Food Bank. They provide 57,000 meals a day. Amazing. So this will be I think this will be something they'll continue on the AFL going forward into the pre-season. Now we don't have the pre-season comp anymore.
Yeah, good crowd too.
Not a bad crowd for a Tuesday night, Anthony.
Yeah.
A few late for work or school tomorrow.
Yeah. On the turnaround, side bottom, Johnson made a positive attempt at the ball. McRae's hands, good. Harrison from the pocket. Myercheck, this time he tried to find Lockie Schultz. He had his words from before ringing in his ear. Dow continues to impress. He's got the lanky arms, Dow, but he uses them to good effect in tight spaces. And here's Camden McIntosh.
Move it on. Play on line. Stand.
2 minutes and 12 seconds to get through for the first game of the AFL season. So nothing stupid here, Anthony, from these players out here, I wouldn't think.
It'll be fascinating, that first game for Richmond, won't it, against
Big race.
Sold out.
Damien Hardwick.
It'll be sold out up there, Heritage Bank Stadium.
Atmosphere.
Going into the long weekend, yeah, there'll be a lot of Richmond supporters travelling up.
Looking forward to getting up to Brownie's house for that one over that weekend.
Gaz is sleeping in the bunk.
Invited us all up.
With Jack.
Him and young Jack just punching on over who's got the top bunk.
So let's see how much energy Big Bo's got left here. He'll take his very best. Hangs up, drifts across. It's just a minor score. There's been plenty of those tonight.
I know we joke about it, but do we read anything into this fact that, you know, it's the most perfect of nights out there, or is it just part of
what do you want to read into it, Gaz?
The narrative that we've been having for a long time, that goal kicking is just a skill that won't be improved upon.
We might wait till round
bit
2 or 3.
Gary's being a little bit hard.
Am I? Well, let's try for the last minute.
You could just show Avocado Man again if you like. Here's
Maybe
Charlie
save
Bell.
it for on the couch Monday night, Gaz. We're back.
I'll go back there.
Bolton to Graham. Kazitsky. A little chip. Campbell. He'd love a late goal. Oh, could have been it for Lafau. He still might get him. Oh, Noble made the escape.
Jack Graham may have hurt a quad here too, really late, guys, which is unfortunate for the Tigers, walking off the ground as we speak.
That is shocking, isn't it? We had Cam Guthrie hurt his quad in the first minute of the scratch match last week.
Well, this is one for the ages. The Collingwood chance
The practice match.
Everyone's got to warm up.
That's it.
Just warming into the season. There's going to be a full voice for GWS.
That could be a story down there.
He's exasperated with that. There's Jack Graham. Can you believe it? That late in the...
Forward to lose him.
He's done that in the last 30 seconds of the practice match. That's everything you don't want to come out of it.
I think Damien Hardwick once just about called off a pre-season match, didn't
Played
he?
with 15.
He left about 10 on the bench.
That's not what you want either, boys. You don't get involved with this at this time.
Oh, this is unbelievable. We've got a scrap right to the end. The goal's been kicked from downtown.
Plus chaos has ensued here.
Billy Frampton has kicked a goal from the car park. There's a fracas in the forward pocket.
Come on, mate. Come on, Sampson. That's enough.
Now they've got the energy for this, or the intent.
Liam Baker's just jumped in. I suppose you've got to practice that too, Brownie.
You do, yeah.
AFL's looking to issue some fines if they can.
Very fatiguing wrestling. Not sure when they play each other. I haven't had a look at the fixture this far ahead, but
how did this get underway? Let's have a look at this.
Mason Cox might have had a bit of ability.
It's Johnson.
No, it's Pickett and Johnson.
Pickett and Johnson.
Oh, just give him a little clip, Johnson did. And then Mason just come in to back up his teammate.
Where's Sampson getting? Where's Big
Bit of a reach advantage there to Maso.
Yes, the big fella's just got himself involved there as a young fella, and all the while there goes the goal.
While they weren't watching.
Billy Frampton over the back. They're still gathering down here. Hopefully they're shaking hands.
Now they're shaking hands.
Just saying that was a bit silly, lads. Let's get on with it and let's get on with the season. But a good hit out for both mobs, I would have thought, in the end. And you get what you need to get out of it, Brownie. You can convince yourself things are going to be okay. We hope that Jack Graham's okay.
Apart from Jack Graham, the quad's not something you want to... Certainly in a type of injury you don't want to be going into round one with. They can last a while. Dusty's done what he had to do. Looks in pretty good nick. Good pre-season. Down to Brad Johnson.